And welcome to Louisiana Wrestling Now. Welcome, everyone, to our state championship wrap-up show. My name is Robbie Dauterive, and I'm joined by the Godfather, Chad Ravannack, and the Catholic High Athletic Director, Ben DiPalma. Welcome, guys. Great to see y'all.
Happy to be back.
Hey, look, guys, it's been a great season, man. And, you know, it culminated with the state tournament in Shreveport. You know, I know we all feel like when we left there, we felt like we wrestled it or coached in it. But, man, I think every kid that steps in that arena, every parent, every coach walks out with that feeling after where they just have to exhale and kind of regroup. Ben, what were your thoughts leaving the state tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was one of the best tournaments that we've had in terms of its efficiency. Hats off to Chad and to Adam McDonald, the LHSAA. I thought it was just run so well. We kind of talked in the pre-show about walking out of there at 8 o'clock, which is pretty atypical. There wasn't really any downtime, and it just flowed so well. So I thought just from an organizational standpoint, it's one of the best we've ever had. And then I thought the wrestling was great. I think the superstars really showed up, and that was fun to watch.
And Chad, man, look, got to give you a lot of credit, my brother. You know, from old grumpy Jim passing it over to happy, laid-back Chad Ravannack with his assistant twin. I mean, look, dude. Things went great. You know, we've got an interview coming up in a bit with Adam McDonald. He talks about the tournament in the future. But for you, Chad, what are some of your takeaways of the success of the weekend?
Well, first and foremost, I really got to thank Mark Morrow. Mark Morrow and I are co-directors, but I would definitely say he has the lead on that. I just probably have the name. But he's done a phenomenal job. He's someone I've learned a lot from. I think we work very well where I kind of have more of a vision for the future, and kind of things that we could change and we can grow. And he has the intent right now, running the weigh-ins, getting the wrestlers out. So it's really, really a great team. And I'd be remiss without thanking the Mahas for running the head table, man. It's a team effort, and we couldn't do it without them. But very, very exciting. We had 813 athletes compete. With a handful of teams that actually didn't come in. I think we can go over the breakdown later. That's about 45% Division I, 33% Division II, and 22% Division III. We grew over 100 wrestlers from last year's state tournament. And next year, we're projecting to have over 1,000 kids in the state tournament, which is a lot. And certainly things we're going to kind of maybe look at, because I think with the growth that we have, we may need to kind of change a little bit of things, but certainly great to see us trending more the growth. And then we're going to have the girls division coming on, which we're going to expect at 150 there. So just very, very happy with the direction that the state is going, and just thankful for the team and everyone that makes it all happen.
Yeah, I think we voiced our opinion throughout the year of what we would like to see the state do moving forward. And I think on today's show, it's best to celebrate what we had this past weekend, and really not get into the one division, two division, whatever we're looking for. But I think the bottom line is this. If you are a parent or a coach and your son or daughter wrestled in that tournament this weekend, I want you to think about this. 42 kids walked out there who accomplished their ultimate goal for the season. As Chad just said, we had 813 wrestlers entered in the tournament. So all you wrestlers that didn't quite walk out of there as one of those 42, what are you going to do now? If you're graduating, if you're going to go wrestle in college, or if you're just going off to college on to bigger and better things, then you focus on those things. But for you wrestlers coming back next year, put together a plan, put together a action plan to get better between now and the state tournament next year. Go back and evaluate your matches. What did you do well? What could you have done better? What might have kept you off the podium? What might have kept you out of the finals? That's kind of what we're striving to do with the Louisiana Wrestling Now, is to get wrestlers not only the coverage that they deserve, but also to help them out along the way. So We were able to interview Adam McDonald at the state tournament this weekend. Adam is the co-executive director who handles wrestling. Adam's been instrumental in working with the boys state tournament for the last few years. We talked to him about the introduction of girls, the bid process for next year, and what the future looks like for wrestling in Louisiana. So let's go to an interview with Adam McDonald. Hi, this is Robbie Dauterive, and I'm at the Louisiana State Wrestling Tournament in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I'm joined by Adam McDonald, Executive Director of the LHSAA Boys and now Girls Wrestling.
That's right, Assistant Executive Director behind Mr. Bonine in there. We got girls coming online next year. We're pretty excited about it. Our principals all voted in favor of adding a girls' state tournament next year for 25, so we're looking forward to it.
You know, I know we've discussed this in the past, and I'm adamant about this. One day, getting this tournament back to 2 divisions, and is that something that's in the near future, or is that something that needs to be discussed with the principals and the ADs first?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there needs to be a lot of discussion about that. There's a lot of things we can do. There's a lot of different permutations of all that. But we've got the girls coming online right now. So at least for the next 2 years, what we're looking at is the 3 divisions of boys and 1 division of girls. So we're going to end up having 4 mats for finals for the next 2 years. And we just have to look at it, see what the numbers are, see what the numbers of girls are, and whether or not it's justified to go down to 2 divisions. And it's just a simple proposal by a principal, and then a simple majority of the schools of wrestling to pass it.
Yeah, that's always simple to get, right? And I know that's something that'll be discussed in the rooms with the principals and the ADs. But for you, you've been involved in this state tournament now for a number of years. What does it mean to you to come up and put it? This is a first-class event. It really is. What does it mean to you to come up and see the success and to see the way these athletes perform?
You know, Robbie, the sport has grown even over the last few years. Even in this tournament right now, we have almost 120 more kids entered than we did last year. And now we had 157 girls registered last year or this season, and that's going to increase for next year. So we're probably looking at almost 1,000 athletes for next year. So just being involved in it, this is my 7th year, I guess now. Man, it's been great. We've been dialing it in. It's a great program. We have a great tournament every year, and it really doesn't matter kind of where we go. Everybody's on board, willing to help, and we just got a great wrestling community.
Yeah, and that was my first question to you. So talk about the bid process and how long the tournament will get awarded to wherever it goes, and when does that take place?
So the requests for proposals are up on our website right now, lhsa.org, and all of our convention visitors bureaus across the state have an opportunity to partner with some local host schools to submit that bid. You know, what we're looking for is a venue that has our dates for the next 2 years, that has the ability to put 10 mats down, and preferably another area for some warm-up mats. And then obviously, you know, help with all the local schools to get those volunteers that we need to run off the event. So those proposals are due in April, and I believe the executive committee of the LHSA will finalize whoever gets that bid at our May executive committee meeting. So we'll know by May where we're going to be for the next 2 years.
And isn't it better to put up with me as a reporter here at the state tournament than it was as a coach?
It's amazing because we haven't had to eject you.
This is Robbie Dauterive saying goodnight, and thanks, Adam, for joining us. All right, I want to thank Adam McDonald for spending a few minutes with me. That was before the championship finals on Saturday. Always a long weekend if you're the co-director of the LHSAA and you've got such a big responsibility with wrestling. Someone else we were able to catch up with, though, and I hope a lot of our fans were able to visit with. She's a member of the U.S. Army. She's a 2016 graduate of Destrehan High School, and she will be competing in the Olympic trials. We had her on earlier in the year, but, man, it was great to have her there in person. And I know Chad and Ben had nothing but great things to say about her when she stepped in and filled in for me to do play-by-play during the championship finals. But we got a great interview with a lady that I call the first lady of Louisiana wrestling. So take a look at our interview with Abby Netti. This is Robbie Dauterive, and I am here with the First Lady of Louisiana Wrestling, Abby Netti, 2016 graduate of Destrehan High. Abby, what's it like to be back home and at the state tournament?
Oh, it's great. It's grown so much since when I graduated, and I don't know, it's great to see these kids, especially some of the kids that I knew when they were children, and now some of them are in the state finals. It's awesome. It's cool.
Okay, so who would have thunk, but this little girl whose father, who was a legendary wrestler at Bonneville High School, took her out to a kids club, I would imagine run by Jim Ravannack?
Took me to here when I was 6 years old. He took me to the Louisiana State Tournament when I was 6. We were sitting next to Paul Klein's dad, big Paul Klein, and he's like, "You want to try this?" And I'm just, sure, sure. And then, I don't know.
So were you a natural at it? What like got you hooked into wrestling? What was it? Because getting beat up by the boys at an early age, that couldn't have been a lot of fun.
No, I wasn't a natural at it for sure. One lady went up to my mom and said I smiled too much because I I don't know. I think once you start seeing progress, even as a kid, it's hard to not want to stick with things. So.
And the other great thing is this, you did play other sports in high school, right? Because we have a lot of multiple sport athletes here. What else did you play?
I played softball in high school.
Okay, softball and wrestling, but then it's time to go to college.
Yes.
And wrestling calls.
Yes.
Okay, so in wrestling, a 2-time National College Wrestler of the Year winner.
Yep.
Awesome, national champion.
Yes.
And now we're trying to make the Olympic team. And how awesome does that sound? I mean, really, Abby Netti is working to make the Olympic team and training where?
I'm training in Colorado Springs with the Army WCAP program.
Okay, so also you're serving our country.
Yes.
And you're in Colorado Springs doing a lot of training. So, man, what's the daily grind like for someone like you? Give these wrestlers out there your average day.
The daily grind, you try not to kill yourself too much with it, but it's just a dedication every day. You have to wake up, you go to practice, and then you take a break, you recover, and then you go to another workout after that. But even though it's only 2 workouts a day, wrestling's not about working out all the time. It's about the dedication with your diet, the dedication with your mindset. It's the dedication with what are you doing throughout the day to recover from it. So it's just small things like that you have to continue to dedicate yourself to.
Yeah, and before you kind of threw me off because I asked you how long you practice a day, and you said, well, I'm getting old. You're not getting old. Because if you're getting old, I am very old. Okay, so I don't want to hear that.
You're right.
You're still young, Abby.
You're right. I'm in my prime, but as a woman, as a wrestling woman, we don't have that much longer, Our bodies can only hold up for so long,
Well,
you hear all wrestlers walking around and they're like, okay, I have the body of a 15-year-old and it's a 23-year-old kid. I mean, a 50-year-old and it's a 23-year-old kid. So it does take a toll on your body, to say the least.
No, I get that. And so for you now, we're in the Olympic cycle. We have Final X coming up in March.
So it's Olympic trials at the end of April.
At the end of April, and then Final X would be after that, or no? We go straight Olympic trials.
So,
right.
I mean, it's hard how they do it, but you basically have a mini tournament the day before, and then the next day you turn around.
Someone fresh is waiting for you.
Yes.
Yeah, and that is definitely a grind. So you just went to Nice, France, and you participated in a tournament there. Tell me about the tournament there.
It was good. Like I told you before, it was right after winter break and we had some stuff happen within the team, but it was just eye-opening. I lost my first match just because I didn't cut weight correctly, and then after that, I teched and pinned 4 of my other matches after that. The bronze medal match, I ended up taking the girl, no problem. So, I don't know, it's just an eye-opening experience. Okay, these are the things I need to work on before trials, and also it's just a reason to make me believe, why not me? Why not me this year? And that's what I continue. Every single time I step on the mat, I'm just like, I have the capabilities. Now I need to just go out there and do it.
Yeah, what I love to hear from you is this is the mistake I made, because wrestlers out there make these mistakes all the time. You're a world team member and you still find yourself having to get past those things. All right, so now Olympic trials coming up, 57 kilograms. 57 kilograms, so a bit of a cut?
I mean, I'm about like a little over 10 pounds over right now, but I mean, when you're doing it right, and I still have 2.5 months, and I'm still, like working every day to get my metabolism going and stuff like that. So I don't think it'll be too hard, especially if I'm starting now. I think it'll gradually fall off. So it's not too bad.
Let's talk quickly a little visualization, because from the time I was a horrible student when I entered school at 5 years old, but a really good athlete, I visualized about going to the Olympics. How many times? The Olympics are in Paris, France, which might not be the greatest city in the world, but Paris, France. How many times have you visualized representing your country in Paris, France at the Olympics?
Do you know, I've visualized it so many times. Since I was 6 years old, I wanted to be an Olympic champ. And you know how many times I close my eyes and I imagine me running around that circle carrying the American flag and standing on the top of the podium and having our national anthem play instead of Japan's national anthem. I'm getting goosebumps even talking about it right now.
I'm getting goosebumps right now too, because let's face it, that's how we become successful in this sport. We have to visualize. And all these athletes today, I hope every one of them have seen themselves getting their hand raised at the state tournament. So let me ask you about another maybe visual you've had. Did you ever think we would have women's wrestling sanctioned sport in Louisiana?
I knew it would happen, but I did not think it would happen so soon.
Thought maybe like 2052. Yeah, but that was it.
Yeah.
So next year we're going to be here. Hopefully we bring back Olympic champion Abby Netti. How great would that be to hand out awards? I'm already making plans. Look, it is such an honor to talk to you, and we are so proud of you, Abby. Good luck. Train hard.
Robbie, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me here.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
When you have suffered a personal injury or endured the wrongful death of a loved one, your focus should be on healing. But with medical bills piling up and insurance companies offering less than you expected, you're bound to feel overwhelmed. Since 1994, the law office of Stephen J. Rando, LLC has used experience to work towards helping his clients obtain the full and fair compensation they deserve so that they can move forward. Contact him for a free consultation, located at 3530 Canal Street in New Orleans on the historic streetcar line. Call 504-486-7122 to schedule an appointment. Recognizing that each patient's goal is unique, plastic surgeon Dr. Michael Henneman offers creative solutions for his patients, utilizing the latest technology and procedures to achieve desired results. When you arrive at our Baton Rouge office for your consultation, you will find impeccable service in a comfortable, relaxed environment. Improving patient appearance, self-image, and confidence are our measures of success and satisfaction, and your privacy and confidentiality are always held in the highest regard. Take your training to a whole new level at HotWorks, the world's first 24-hour infrared fitness studio. Get 24/7 access to virtually instructed infrared sauna workouts with 3D training combining heat, infrared energy, and exercise, giving you increased calorie burn, muscle recovery, detoxification, and more. Choose up to 11 different workouts like hot yoga, hot Pilates, and hot cycle. Get more workout in less time. HotWorks, come earn the burn today.
And welcome back to Louisiana Wrestling Now. We want to give a big shout out to Kenny Spellman and the Brother Martin Alumni Association for sponsoring this state championship wrap-up show. Man, we couldn't do this without our sponsors. And guys, I'm happy to share this information with you. Man, I've had people contacting me since the tournament on Saturday, then Sunday with the blast out on Varsity Sports Now of all the Division I finalists and the champions, people wanting to sponsor next year. So I'm really looking forward to bigger and better things for us next year. Hopefully one day we can nail down those state semifinals and finals on VSN. That's what we're shooting for. But now let's talk Division III. And man, Division III, you know, in the end, Archbishop Shaw ran away with the title with 263.5 team points. But in second place was John Curtis, 202. Basile with 197.5. Archbishop Hannon and Jay Fauché from the North Shore with 178.5. And in fifth place from New Orleans, De La Salle High School with a couple of champs, Ben, thoughts on Division III?
Yeah, I mean, first off, congrats to Coach Surrency. You know, he's for a young guy, he's been around for a while and he's done great things over there at Shaw. But you know, the one thing that really caught my attention here is John Curtis. You know, as far as I can remember, this is the highest Curtis has ever placed as a team in the state tournament. And what was really amazing to me is that when you started to dig through the numbers after everything was over, after that semifinal round on Saturday morning, Curtis was in 4th place and 40 points outside of second, which means they made up 40 points in the 2 wrestleback rounds, which is it's just crazy to think that you would make up that many points in really what's the 2 wrestleback rounds and your championship round. So, you know, hats off to those guys for getting their kids fired up in wrestlebacks to go out and win matches and score bonus points and make up that much ground.
And Chad, Division III thoughts?
Man, you know, Coach Surrency and I have always had a pretty close relationship. A handful of years ago when I was coaching, we ended up putting our teams together. We wrestled in a dual meet. And truthfully, I haven't experienced him in the room, but how he handled his kids that day, how the expectations that he set, how he dealt with them in wins and losses. I mean, I remember that day. I told him we were in the Shaw gym and I said, man, you keep doing what you're doing and you're going to accomplish great things. And Coach Surrency, back-to-back champs, you know, his whole staff. I mean, he's got a phenomenal staff over there in Barataria. And, you know, hats off to him. I know he had some trials and kind of some tribulations through the week. We talked about that. We rode up to the CD meeting together and spoke through the week on kind of things that they had going on internally. And, you know, just happy to see everything. The culmination came together for him. And he's bringing that Brother Melchior trophy back to Shaw. So congrats and hats off to those guys and his staff.
Yeah, and really, let's talk about the resurgence in athletics at Shaw. You know, you bring in Coach Hank Tierney, you bring him back. And now all of a sudden the football team's making a run into the playoffs. The basketball team, I think it's going to be a high seed at the state tournament this year in the basketball division. Baseball was a district champion last year. And now for the first time in school history, they have back-to-back state championships in a sport. They did this with 7 finalists, 4 state champions, 3 runner-ups, 1 third-place finisher, and 3 fifth-place finishers. You know what that tells me, man? They had 8 guys winning that last match of the tournament. And with 12 placers, they really dominated Division III. You know, John Curtis, as Ben said, did a great job of really fighting back through wrestlebacks, getting some wins, and coming back and finishing a strong 2nd place with 202 team points to edge out Bazille for that spot. So, man, we trusted the Division III highlights and interviews to Eric and the whole team back at VSN. So here we go now. We're going to roll out Division III. I'm here with 120-pound state champion, 3-time state champion, Dylan Duvernay of De La Salle. Man, 120 pounds this year is probably one of the toughest weight classes in the state in all divisions. Man, to come out on top 3 times in this division, quite an accomplishment, man. What's it mean to you?
It means a lot, right? It's a lot of hard work, dedication, a lot of time in the room. First one in, last one out, right? I have my team behind me, family, parents, stuff like that. So it means a lot, right? It's come a long way. I mean, 8th grade, I was only 70 pounds. Right, and having to wrestle Tyson Roach in the junior high state finals, it was amazing. We became best friends after that. 9th grade, I placed 6th, but I was only like 90 pounds, wrestling 106. And I remember telling my coach, I was like, next year, I'm gonna be on top of that podium. And after that, it just became a goal every year. This year was more of just getting ready for college, working on my craft, stuff like that. But I knew I had it. Just had to stay focused, stay confident, and wrestle my match.
Man, I love the fact that you gave credit to Tyson Roach there, because Alex Rojas did too. I mean, for Tyson Roach to go down and wrestle him at 120 instead of going 126 means a lot. Talks about the character of Tyson Roach. With the guys you wrestled this year, Bodie Harris, Tyson Roach, man, what makes those guys so special?
First of all, they're just best friends of mine, right? Going in on the mat, you're not friends, right? But off the mat, you are. But they keep the pace on you high, right? They don't back off. They always keep that pressure. And they just put a lot of work in, right? I have to give credit to all 3 of them because they do have a lot of work and they do go in the room a lot. Just overall, great wrestlers and great people.
Yeah, man, look, I'm sure everybody at De La Salle is proud of you. You're a New Orleans boy now. How do we celebrate? King Cake and Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras, baby.
All right, man. Have a great time. Any plans to wrestle next year?
Yes, sir. Actually, plan on going up to Wisconsin, wrestle at UW Parkside. So.
Awesome, man. Congratulations. We're all proud of you. All right, I'm here with De La Salle, 285-pound Division III state champion, Austin Young. Austin, man, what's it like to get on top of the podium?
Oh, it feels amazing. Last year, I got caught, thrown, head toss, first match. I promised myself it would not happen again. Here I am, first seed, placing first.
Did what you wanted to do, right?
Yes, sir.
So talk about football and wrestling, man, because, look, this sport needs more guys like you. Really big fit. What position do you play in football?
I'm a D-tackle.
D-tackle. Has wrestling helped with your football career, and tell us how, so the kids out there watching, those football dudes who are sitting on the couch right now eating a cheeseburger, tell them what it's going to do for their football.
Oh, it's 1,000% going to help, no matter what. And I'll tell you what, if you're into football primarily, all the coaches recruiting, they love wrestlers, especially for linemen. Because whenever you're able to drive, you know how to work around people. It's phenomenal.
100%, man. So are you continuing your career in either sport?
Yes, sir. I'm hoping both.
Oh.
I'm looking around. Any offers interested, hit me up. I would love to do either or. I mean, I fell in love with the sport for wrestling sophomore year. Decided to come back. Senior year, play football. So I was like, you know what? I love the mental toughness of it. And I was like, I'm going to give football another chance. I regained all that knowledge, picked it up right away because I was just so fluent with how all the moves you use with wrestling. It's,
Well, Austin, I never realized how short I am, but thanks, bro. You just made me realize how short I am. And look, you football coaches out there and wrestling coaches out there, this guy wants to play both sports. Hit him up at De La Salle. Let's get this guy playing in college.
yes, sir. Thank you.
Man, congratulations.
Really appreciate it.
You got it, buddy. All right, one more time. We're here with Archbishop Shaw head coach Brandon Cerncy, man. Now the tournament's over. I can get a smile. Let's see. Get that hair fixed for you there. Dude, how's it feel to go back to the West Bank with state title?
Feels great, but I'm absolutely exhausted. I got to be honest with you. It was a tough tournament. Bazille battled the whole way through, which ended up finishing third, but they had a really good tournament and pushed us. Congratulations to Curtis taking second.
Well, I'm going to give you a little challenge then. There are parades tomorrow in New Orleans. When we won our first state championship in 1999, Kenny Spellman and I were on the parade route the next morning at 7 a.m. and we got in at 5 a.m. So get back home tonight. I expect to see you out having a good time tomorrow.
Sure will. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
When you have suffered a personal injury or endured the wrongful death of a loved one, your focus should be on healing. But with medical bills piling up and insurance companies offering less than you expected, you're bound to feel overwhelmed. Since 1994, the law office of Stephen J. Rando, LLC has used experience to work towards helping his clients obtain the full and fair compensation they deserve so that they can move forward. Contact him for a free consultation. Located at 3530 Canal Street in New Orleans on the historic streetcar line. Call 504-486-7122 to schedule an appointment. Recognizing that each patient's goal is unique, plastic surgeon Dr. Michael Henneman offers creative solutions for his patients, utilizing the latest technology and procedures to achieve desired results. When you arrive at our Baton Rouge office for your consultation, you will find impeccable service in a comfortable, relaxed environment. Improving patient appearance, self-image, and confidence are our measures of success and satisfaction, and your privacy and confidentiality are always held in the highest regard. Take your training to a whole new level at HotWorks, the world's first 24-hour infrared fitness studio. Get 24/7 access to virtually instructed infrared sauna workouts with 3D training combining heat, infrared energy, and exercise, giving you increased calorie burn, muscle recovery, detoxification, and more. Choose up to 11 different workouts like hot yoga, hot Pilates, and hot cycle. Get more workout in less time. HotWorks. Come earn the burn today.
And welcome back to Louisiana Wrestling Now. Once again, man, thanks to Kenny Spellman and the Brother Martin Alumni Association for sponsoring this special state tournament wrap-up show. And guys, let's get to Division II now, where we had a changing of the guard. And we kind of saw it coming last week when we got the seeds. We kind of projected the placement points. I'm going to say this. I really think North DeSoto won this state tournament by going out of state and challenging themselves in tournaments in Oklahoma, Allen, Texas. You know, I had an assistant coach from North DeSoto come up to me and say, yeah, I think people are down on us because we go out of state. And I said, I'm not. I wouldn't stay here and wrestle. I'm going out of state to get better. They're going to come back and kick everybody's butt at the state tournament. And that's what they did. But I'll also say this. Turlings Catholic did not go quietly. They did not go quietly. So the team points in Division II. In first place, your Division II state champions with 326 points, North DeSoto. In second place with 297 points, Turlings Catholic. Third place with 230.5 points, Archbishop Rummel. Fourth place, 209.5 points. Look out, St. Thomas More. And in fifth place with 161 team points, Sam Houston. So, Ben, let's start with you, man. What's your big takeaway from Division II?
Yeah, I always think Division II is such a fun follow at the state tournament because of the rivalry between Turlings and North DeSoto over the few years. But to me, one of the big stories this year were the Cougars from St. Thomas More and Coach Kerry Bowman. Those guys have built a program, it seems like, overnight. I saw some of the social media that St. Thomas More was putting out throughout the week about how they had 6 kids on a bus last year, and now they have 75 in the room. I mean, a fourth-place finish, I think they cracked 200 points, right? Yeah, 209.5 points. To me, I think this is the sign that you're about to throw a third program into the mix in Division II with Turlings and North DeSoto to make it real interesting moving forward.
Chad?
Man, I got to go with Dustin Burton and all the, 10 years. He has a decade of work underneath him. And while it's hats off to Dustin Burton, I feel like, we have to acknowledge Mr. Donnie Burton. He came down and really developed North Louisiana wrestling by himself, single-handedly. And then to see his son, one of my best friends, teammates, put in 10 years of work, start from the ground up on a brand new program, starting with Chase Bates, a 2017 state champ, and then, Rabinowitz coming in, and then he's got Coach Volke, and then, putting other guys out at the next level, Sarpy, Richard Mack, and really for him to just bring that Brother Melchior trophy back up north, which, how many times has that happened? To my recollection, I don't know. And, I just couldn't be more proud of my man, Dustin Burton. I love him to death. And, it was really, it was emotional for both of us, after he won. Once it was all said and done and the tournament was over, we just gave each other a big hug, and just proud of my guy.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And look, I know the feeling, the knock on the door. And then when you finally get there, and it's just such a relief for you and your program when you finally climb the mountain. And the key now is you got to stay up there, and as Ben said, man, the St. Thomas More team's coming fast. We walk around the state tournament and we're wrestling guys. We talk wrestling and we talk about issues in Louisiana wrestling. What Louisiana wrestling needs. Louisiana wrestling needs more quality coaches. They really do. We need the Kerry Bowman's types, but even like if you're not as accomplished as Kerry Bowman's, we need young guys like Grant Hughes at St. Paul's, guys who are hounding you on the phone the week after state to go have lunch with them and talk wrestling with them. And I'm gonna catch up with you soon enough, Grant Hughes, and we're gonna get together. We're gonna talk some wrestling. But man, that's really what we need, because it's such a pleasure to watch kids really getting coached in the corner. I know we saw some deficiencies in that area this weekend, and we need to make those improvements. We really do. So let's talk a little North DeSoto. 8 state finalists, 4 champions, 4 runner-ups, 3 third-place finishers, 1 fourth and 1 fifth, with a total of 13 place finishers, and man, 326 team points. And look, Turling's Catholic, to score 297 team points and finish second, I would have a hard time going to my off season with that. So with Coach Mason and Coach Maha over there, great job again. They had nothing but great things to say about North DeSoto, and class guys as usual. What a great year for Turling's Catholic also. You know, before we go to our highlights, the three of us, I think, want to talk about the match of the tournament, in our opinion, because how many times do you get a kid like Tyson Roach who says, you know what, I want a Division I title, I want a Division II title, I'm not so much into titles anymore, I want to go wrestle the best kid in the state. And he did that. He dropped down to 120. I don't know if you guys know this or caught this. He had a really tough semifinal match against a really strong North DeSoto wrestler. I think he won 10-8. But, man, what are your thoughts, Ben, on a kid dropping down a weight to take on the best kid in the state?
Yeah, I just think the utmost respect for Tyson on that. I mean, like Chad and I said on our broadcast of the Division I finals, I mean, Tyson could have moonwalked his way into a state title at 126. I mean, he could have written his name in before the tournament started. And I think for most people, no one would have blamed him if he had done that. But the fact that he decided to, one, cut the weight, right, to get down to Rosas, and two, challenge himself and really, you know, put that state title to the side and say, I'm going to risk everything just to go against, which is kind of unanimously we've decided the best kid in the state. You just got to respect the kid for that. And I just think that's his personality, and that's going to serve him so well when he gets to college, that there's that no fear mentality. I'm going to wrestle the best guy in the room no matter what, because we talk about it all the time. Like, you don't get better being comfortable, right? And he purposely put himself into a super uncomfortable position. So hats off to him. And I think Chad might have said on the broadcast, that's going to be his legacy, right? I mean, he's a two-time state champ. We'll talk about him for a long time, but people are going to say, man, y'all remember when Tyson Roach went to go after Rosas in the state tournament? So I love it. I think it's great.
All right, so here's what I'm going to come back with now, because I agree with everything you say, Ben. But here's what I'm going to say. Alex Rosas won 7-0, and Alex Rosas is a force to be reckoned with. And that kid could easily make 113, but instead chooses to wrestle at 120, and he did go after some of the better kids in the state this year. He was willing to go up to 26 in dual meets, willing to go down to 13 at the Reno Tournament of Champions and take third. So, man, great job, Tyson Roach. And, man, you went up and you wrestled a kid who he's just going to be an absolute hammer going forward in this state and on the national level, too. For me, another big takeaway from this 120 weight class is interviewing Dylan Duvernay of De La Salle. And Dylan Duvernay points out one of my really good friends is Tyson Roach. And then talking to Bodie Harris after, and him talking about his two losses this year in state to Alex Rosas and Tyson Roach. And for me to think about, man, what would it be like a state tournament with North DeSoto, Turlings, Rummel, St. Thomas More, Sam Houston mixed in with all the D1 guys? That way we could have all kinds of out-of-town teams come to the Louisiana Classic, and we wouldn't have anybody complaining because we'd have them fighting it out at the state tournament. So with that said, let's go to our Division II state tournament highlights and interviews. the match of the tournament that we've all been waiting for, the Division II 120-pound finals, the two top 5, number 1 pound-for-pound wrestler in the state against number 3 or 4, whoever's picking. Dude, I know you like the challenge. What were you thinking all week leading up to this match?
I was just trying to prepare myself. I knew it was going to be a good match, and I just wanted to make sure I was ready. I was really nervous, but it all went away when the match started.
And you know, one of my favorite things about this sport is this. You and Tyson Roach are friends, right?
Yes.
So I'm sure the amount of respect you have for him, you know, giving up pretty much an easy state championship at 126 to come down and battle you, it makes you better, right?
Yes, sir, it does.
Let's talk about the future for you, man. Is this it? We come back next year and wrestle, or are we going to wrestle Virginia Beach and all through the summer?
We're wrestling all through the summer. We're not stopping.
Awesome, man. So this year you guys fell a little short in the team title, but man, you're still on that quest to be a 4-time state champ. What's that mean to you moving forward, and how do you prepare going in these summer tournaments?
It means a lot, and I'm just trying to get more ready. That's not going to be enough to place or even win these summer tournaments, so I need to train harder, get more in shape. I'll be ready though.
All right, man, and you look like you fed off that Turlings Catholic crowd. What does that crowd behind you mean?
It's so much better when you have someone behind you. You just know everyone's supporting you, and it really gives you an extra boost to get through the match.
All right, man, congratulations. 120-pound state champion, Alex Rojas, Turlings Catholic. State champion Brennan Boyer, your first one as a senior, right?
Yes, sir.
And man, what's it like to wrestle for a powerhouse and finally get that first title? I can see your face.
It's the best feeling in the world. I love this school. Thank everybody, my coaches, my parents, my training partner Alex Rojas. I wouldn't be here without any of them. So it's the best feeling in the world.
That's right, man. Look, man, you had a really tough opponent there. A-Bear from North Vermilion, really tough. What was the difference at the end of the match?
Just grinding it out, wrestling to the end. We got in the same position 3 or 4 times, and I just beat him on the last one, put it to his back, finished it out. Can't compete. I just work too hard in the room.
All right, man. Look, go enjoy it with your family and friends. We're proud of you. Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, buddy. right, man. I'm here with freshman state champion Carter Maha. How long have you waited? Because you've been around wrestling your whole life. How long have you waited to hear that?
A long time.
A long time?
Very long time.
So tell me, man. Growing up in the kids club, I remember you, a little guy, getting out there. To do this with your team and that hug with your dad, how special is that?
It's a great feeling. Really great.
And look, I saw you go over there and give Lake a big hug, dude. That was a great match. A lot of points thrown up. What was the difference at the end?
I think we both had a great match, but I just fought through it. He fought through it too, but I ended up getting that late takedown to seal the deal.
All right, man. I know you got plenty of family here. Go celebrate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Top 6 finishers, please start lining up for awards. Top 6 finishers of 106 pounds and 113 pounds. Please begin lining up for awards.
Well, Coach, we had you on the show earlier this year, and you talked about the community and how they're behind you guys at North DeSoto. What's the party going to be like when you get back to town? What's the celebration going to be like?
I couldn't tell you right now. You know, I think it's first thing I'm gonna do is go hug my mom and dad. You know.
Well, Coach, look, I've planned a lot of those parties. They're always good to plan in advance. And man, enjoy your success. I know you're a little right now. You still haven't come to grips with the fact that you've got this, because as a coach, you're being conservative. But man, you're really a credit to Louisiana Wrestling. You guys did a great job.
Thank you.
When you have suffered a personal injury or endured the wrongful death of a loved one, your focus should be on healing. But with medical bills piling up and insurance companies offering less than you expected, you're bound to feel overwhelmed. Since 1994, the law office of Stephen J. Rando, LLC has used experience to work towards helping his clients obtain the full and fair compensation they deserve so that they can move forward. Contact him for a free consultation. Located at 3530 Canal Street in New Orleans on the historic streetcar line. Call 504-486-7122 to schedule an appointment. Recognizing that each patient's goal is unique, plastic surgeon Dr. Michael Henneman offers creative solutions for his patients, utilizing the latest technology and procedures to achieve desired results. When you arrive at our Baton Rouge office for your consultation, you will find impeccable service in a comfortable, relaxed environment. Improving patient appearance, self-image, and confidence are our measures of success and satisfaction, and your privacy and confidentiality are always held in the highest regard. Take your training to a whole new level at HotWorks, the world's first 24-hour infrared fitness studio. Get 24/7 access to virtually instructed infrared sauna workouts with 3D training combining heat, infrared energy, and exercise, giving you increased calorie burn, muscle recovery, detoxification, and more. Choose up to 11 different workouts like hot yoga, hot Pilates, and hot cycle. Get more workout in less time. HotWorks, come earn the burn today.
And welcome back to Louisiana Wrestling Now. And guys, before we go any further and jump into D1, let's give a shout out to our title sponsors for the year, Dr. Nicholas DiGirolamo and Steve Rando. Congratulations, Dr. Nick, on Nicholas winning his second state championship. Dr. Michael Hanneman and Hanneman Plastic Surgery, and Steve Smith with HotWorks. Congratulations to you too. Your son walked away with a state title. So if you're out there watching the show and you want your son to win a state title next year, I would get the checkbook out, contact Robbie Dauterive on Facebook. Let me know that you want to be a title sponsor next year, and that should ensure your son gets to be a Louisiana State Wrestling Championship champion or daughter. And I think Dr. Michael Hanneman's son's going to probably join those ranks one day. What do you think, Ben?
Can't wait to have him in the lineup next year.
I can't wait to watch Dad and Grandpa watch him wrestle in the lineup. We're going to film that and put an hour special just on that alone.
So I needed to get a cameraman to work it. And so I called Mike and I was like, hey, man, you think little Mike would want to do the semis? And he was like, yeah. And I said, well, what about the finals? He's like, he's already down there. So before the tournament, before the final started, I said, hey man, how'd you like the semis? He said, oh man, it was awesome. You know, he's right there. It's the biggest tournament of his life. And I said, well, look, you can work the finals, but you're gonna have to meet me here one day, and maybe talk to me after it. And he's like, I got it, coach. I got it. He was all excited.
That's awesome, man. And look, a lot of the kids that have successful state tournaments are the ones who grow up at the tournament. You guys heard Abby Netti say in her interview earlier in the show, she knew she wanted to be a wrestling champion when her dad took her to the state tournament years ago. And as a little girl, she sat next to Paul Klein Sr. and watch the tournament, man. You just can't beat that. So let's talk Division I. Division I was absolutely dominated by the Jesuit Blue Jays and the Holy Cross Tigers, with Jesuit walking away with 321 team points, 3 individual state champions, 5 runner-ups, 1/3, 3/4, and a 5th-place finisher. Jesuit finished with 321 points. State runner-ups this year is Holy Cross with 275.5, followed by Brother Martin with 248.5. Catholic of Baton Rouge, man, capping off a year where we saw them lose the first week of the season, the East Ascension, and they come all the way back to finish ahead of EA at the state tournament with 183.5 points. And then your public school champion, East Ascension, with 175.5. But I think North DeSoto would have something to say about that. Hopefully they'll be together next year at the public school championships. So, guys, man, really great state finals, great state tournament. Ben, what's your big takeaway from the Division I in general?
Man, I thought it was just great matches. I thought the finals were super entertaining. I got to give a shout out to a couple people. First off, I thought Gunnar Guidry might have had the best tournament of anybody, knocking off Elshinson in the quarters, knocking off Groh in the semis, and then knocking off Aurelian in the finals. And just he wrestled his best tournament of the year in the state tournaments, which you always want to do. I thought Holy Cross as a whole, man, they went 4 for 6 in the finals, which is special. And then shout out to Matt Pinero and St. Paul's. They you don't want to say rebuild, but they had some gaps in their lineup this year. But Matt put 3 in the finals, went 3-0 with 2 upsets. So really nice job by the Wolves this year.
Yeah, and Chad, what's big takeaway for you from Division I?
Man, I just think the level of wrestling is just growing exponentially at a very fast rate. These kids are getting out there. They're going and seeing the best competition. I mean, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but man, every one of these kids is wrestling in the summer. Every one of these kids is going out to camps, going to tournaments, finding their losses, Coach Burton said. But the Holy Cross, man, they're reloading. Jesuit, they have 100+ in the room, so I think they're going to be pretty steady. But I know Holy Cross got a couple guys they're bringing in. Horvath had a absolutely phenomenal tournament. Gunnar Guidry, Coach DiPalma hit that nail on the head. The smiling assassin coming away with a pin. I mean, that was crazy. The fireworks. And Christian Scott, man, he, like I said, and like you guys love to remind me, he's one of my favorites. And just had a phenomenal tournament. He works really, really hard, comes from a wrestling family, and just really, really excited to see what the future holds, and just excited to see where these young men go. And hopefully they move on to the next level in the event that they are a senior and they go continue to chase that dream.
All right. So, Chad, you're right. Our top wrestlers are wrestling in the summer. They're going to tournaments. They're going to Virginia Beach and stuff. I believe for the state to continue to improve, to get where the top kids are, more wrestlers have to do that. Wouldn't you guys agree? Because I don't see it across the board 6 deep. I really don't. What I do see is the top 1, 2, and 3 guys in some weight classes and in both divisions made the top 1 or 2, really separating themselves from the other kids because of the extra work that they put in. So as a coach, what would I tell you guys? I would tell you guys you have to keep wrestling. That doesn't mean you can't play other sports because, man, it's important to participate in as many sports as you can. And I've never been an advocate of that. You can run track and play baseball, but guess what? You can also go to club wrestling at night, and you can wrestle during the summer, and you can pop into Virginia Beach. And you know what? Virginia Beach isn't for everyone. It's not. I told a wrestler's parent a couple of days ago, hey, I think he would be better at folk style nationals. I really do. In Iowa. I don't think he's quite ready for Virginia Beach. I'd stay away from Adidas Nationals because I think that's really a lower tier tournament. But, man, you have to make your decision how you're going to catch up. And as Chad said, one of my favorite things to say is you have to go out and find those losses. If you think you're going to go travel a national schedule and go undefeated in the summer, hey, good luck to you. But I really want to break down just a couple of words from each of you because we were there, Matt's side, and we really saw some cool things. I observed some other wrestlers. I observed some really good coaching. I observed the actions of some wrestlers in pressure moments and how they dealt with it. So just a couple of words, guys. The 106 finals. Chad, from 106, what really stands out to you?
Cassio, just a stud. It took a little bit to get down there, but certainly, paid off in the end.
Ben?
I mean, how awesome is it? I don't even think Scott Cassio realizes this yet. I don't think he understands the gravity of it, but you've only got 3 4-timers from Division I. Richie's probably going to be number 4 next year, if we're being honest. Scott Cassio is in line to do something that only probably 5 or 4 people in the state have ever done, right? I don't think he even understands that yet, how enormous that win was on Saturday night.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this. Michael Barnett's a hell of a wrestler. Scott Cassio looked like he was, just out looking at the lights when he gave up that quick first takedown. I interviewed him after. He was so excited, and you'll hear this in our interviews, to be up on the wall at St. Paul's with his brother. So I think that was a great moment. And, man, like you said, both those guys are going to be forces to be reckoned with next year. At 113, I'm going to start it off at 113. What I really loved about that match is that Anthony Oubre had a plan in the match, and he did not get rattled. He was on his back within 15 or 20 seconds, down 4-0. We talked about it at the table. We saw Holy Cross in earlier rounds give up near fall. Anthony had given up near fall in a quarterfinal match. We saw them keep their cool. And, man, when you guys saw him fishing for that Peterson and then locking up the Peterson, and unfortunately, I don't think Kale Root knew he was on his back because he didn't even try to fight off. He just heard the mat slap. Ben, take away?
Yeah, I think I think any young wrestler needs to see that match because Rayo dominated that match for the whole match for about 15 seconds. But what's so important about that is and Robbie, you can back me up. When I was coaching, I always told guys, wrestling's the sport where you have to go 100% all the time because you can change it with one move, right? A pin ends all. And so Oob is in that match, and he's kind of getting beat by Rayo pretty bad, and he just kept grinding, stayed on task, and he hits that Peterson, and now he's a state champ.
Yep. Chad?
As much as it is about Oob, the Smiling Assassin, one of my favorites, but looking at me in the background of his match, just was pure excitement for the kid. He had a tough season, coming down, and I'm just really, really happy for him and proud of Anthony, and hopefully he puts in the work this summer.
Yeah, Chad, we need to talk. Okay, so journalism 101. And this comes from Major League Baseball. You're not allowed to cheer in the press box. And it was priceless. And no offense to Kale Root, but we followed Anthony throughout the season. Chad just jumped up and he's clapping in the background of that scene. And I get it, man. And I think, Chad, that was more for the excitement of the moment.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It was great. It was great. I gave a nice little golf clap because I work with Anthony. He's a great kid, and we're really excited to see him come through there. And we know Kale Root's going to be back next year for sure. 120-pound weight class. I'll start this off. Bodie Harris is really good. And, man, I would have loved to seen a bracket with Bodie, Rosas, Roach, Duvernay, and the rest of the gang in one tournament. Would have been phenomenal. Ben?
Yeah, I mean, Harris is a stud. He just keeps getting better and better. And look, hats off. Vidakovic wrestled a great match. But at no point did I ever feel like Harris was in trouble of losing that match.
Chad?
Bodie Harris is Division I caliber wrestler.
Yeah.
He's crisp in everything that he does. The one recommendation I'd make to him is he needs to get in that weight room and start getting strong, because I really hope that he makes that jump to the next level. And that's one of the things that I feel like is kind of a difference maker, is the strength.
All right. I didn't want to bring this up again because I brought it up to Spencer like 4 times. If he could get his dad's guns I mean, there's nobody stopping that kid. Nobody stopping that kid. I even asked Modi about that in our highlight tape or in post-match interviews, and he goes, "I'm really proud of my dad with those arms." I was like, "Wow, that's awesome, man." 126. You know, we were talking before this segment about Gunnar Guidry's tournament. Landon Smith came in at the number 2 seed. But I thought Osiris Gray should have been number 1. Really did. Man, he was beating Landon up until the last 3 seconds. Landon Smith did not quit wrestling. And here's a little tidbit for you. Landon Smith's first varsity tournament win is the Louisiana High School State Championship match. That's the first time he's ever stood on top of the podium at a varsity tournament. What a time to do it. Ben?
Yeah, a little side note. I got to see Landon and Nick D afterwards. We were out eating, and they were in there with their parents eating. And, you know, look, I can't say enough about how great those 2 kids are. They came right up to our table. I was with a couple of the doctors from Catholic and our advancement director, and they walked right up, and they shook our hand, and we told them, I said, "Hey, man, congratulations. That was an awesome job by both of y'all." And they were the most polite and gracious kids. They talked about how grateful they were for this show and the exposure. And so hats off to Landon, man. What a great tournament. And that's a great feeling, you know, to win your first tournament at the state tournament.
Yeah. Chad?
You know, Landon Smith, he certainly had a tough road this year. There was kind of some ups and downs, but, you know, one thing that I really want to acknowledge, and this was something that I really drilled home last year about the Holy Cross Tigers, is they peak at the right time. And, you know, I know he had his ups and downs, but, you know, in talking to their coaching staff, they said he's going to win. He's going to win.
Yeah.
He executed the game plan that they went into that match. And just great tournament for that kid, man. Awesome job.
Yeah, look, I think all of us, I'll speak for all 3 of us, we all agreed that sitting out 3 weeks was too much before the state tournament. We were all 3 wrong. But I will say this. You don't sit out the district championship tournament. So I would tell the coaches in the Catholic League, I would not settle my district championship with dual meets 2 weeks before state that you guys aren't concerned about going with. The Catholic League used to be settled with dual meets during the season when they mean something, and not 2 weeks before the state tournament. Have an individual tournament like we had when I was coaching, which was mysteriously dissolved as soon as I left. But that's the way to do it. That way, if you want to hold back 4, 5, 6 kids, you can. But, man, the Catholic League District Championship is a thing of pride because almost every Catholic League District champion has gone on to win a state championship. So, man, hey, the Holy Cross coaches did a good job, and that Landon Smith match was just another example of that. 132. Man, Christian Scott, preseason top 10. I know for me, and I think maybe Chad and Ben, right?
Yep.
Preseason top 10, kind of fell out of our top 10, was at 38 for a little while, maybe a little up and down. But, man, he really looked good this weekend. Ben?
Yeah, I mean, just having a little bit of inside information and seeing him every day. I think Christian had to go through that sophomore transition of being mentally prepared to wrestle. I think he kind of knew he was the best guy. It took him to prepare and understand that even if you're the best guy, you can get knocked off. And so after Classic, talking to him, he was really upset with his performance at Classic. And it went to just him making mistakes in matches that cost him. You know, he was never really out of control of the match. He just would make a huge mistake and give up 4 points, and it would cost him the match. And so seeing him this week before the state tournament, like I just looked at him and looked how he's priced and said, you know, he ain't losing any matches this week, guys. I got news for you.
He was ready to go. Chad?
You know, and talking to his dad, you know, he had 132-pound state champ written on his mirror for the whole year. And he knew that goal. He visualized that goal. And even through, you know, the ups and downs, he stayed to the path, you know, and, you know, I knew he was going to be in the finals. I didn't know what that result would be. But watching him through the tournament, I was like, I don't know. He's going to be really, really tough to beat. He was on point, and congratulations to Christian.
All right, takes us to 138, man. It's a weight class dominated by Richie Clemente. It seems Richie's been dominant in every weight class he's been in. Matthew Crail, a kid who's just now been to 2 state finals and wrestled against 2 of the best kids in the history of the state. Am I far off there? 2 really good, dominant kids, right? So I think Matthew Crail's going to be really hungry next year to go get his state title, deservingly so. But Richie, once again, I think it was 2-2 at the end of the first round. And then Richie said, no, and went ahead and put some distance. I don't think the point he was dinged for the little dance he did, I don't think that was necessary on the referee's part. I don't think Richie did anything wrong. I've seen celebrations way worse than that, and I don't think it was a bad celebration. Ben?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give Richie his due. I mean, he's just so good in every position. And look, Crail, we said he's such a stud, and Crail's, I think, the one guy all year in the state that has scored an offensive point on Richie. But even in those matches, it wasn't like it was a close match. Richie was just so far ahead of everybody else in every weight class around him. And like we said earlier in the show, he's going to go for something special next year and try to be the 4th four-timer in Division I history.
Yeah. Chad?
Yeah, he really turned it on. Crail's one of my favorite wrestlers in the state. And, he really put the distance on. He really, stepped on the pedal and put a really, really dominating performance in the state finals. I mean, it was really something. Congratulations to him. I hope he goes to Virginia Beach. I love to see him get out there and get some more competition, because he really didn't see too much this past weekend. But congratulations, and I'm sure he's going to be putting his name in the record books as a 4-timer.
Yep. That takes us to 144-pound weight class, and we've talked about him already. Gunnar Guidry with a real impressive performance. He beat the super freshman, Isaac Aurelian from Jesuit. Isaac Aurelian, man, the kid doesn't get flustered. His face doesn't change. He stays calm and cool. I just think Gunnar Guidry had a little too much for him. I talked to Gunnar after. You'll see that interview coming up in a few minutes. And, man, Gunnar was really specific in saying, I wasn't cutting weight the right way. And you're going to hear his mystery cure about cutting weight, which is going to be really funny. And you wrestlers out there, please take his advice, because he's doing the right things now. Man, but what a really tough weight class. Gunnar Guidry, state champ, state finalist. Isaac Aurelian, state finalist. Cole Gross has been a state finalist in the past. Jacob Elsenson, been a state finalist in the past. Really tough weight class. And, man, Gunnar Guidry comes out on top. Ben?
Yeah, and not only did he come on top, I mean, so the finals match was I don't want to say the easiest, but it was the most distance he had. Because you look, him and Elsenson went to overtime, and he won it. And then him and Groh came down to the last 15 seconds. Guidry scored a takedown to win that semifinals match. So it wasn't like Guidry, he's beating these guys, but he's beating them in super pressure situations. So, I mean, he might have had the best tournament of anybody in the state.
Yep. Chad?
Yeah, I agree with DiPalma that he was the lower weight OW in my opinion. He was someone that, I've really been following closely over the last 2 years. And this year, he really wasn't on his game, and then when he dropped the weight, it kind of maybe affected him a little bit, but he was someone that the coaching staff was very, very high on. And, I had faith in him, and I'm really happy that he was able to accomplish his goals and really live up to and be the wrestler that he was on over Friday and Saturday that he probably wasn't this season.
And 150-pound weight class, man, I couldn't even get an interview with this guy because he's so under the radar. Conlon Inc. just does his job. He's the lunch pail dude. He brings his lunch pail to work, goes to work every day, clocks out, eats lunch, goes back to work, works a good solid day, and goes home. I mean, the kid was absolutely dominant. Pinned Sergio Houston at 4 minutes and 32 seconds in the finals, and Sergio Houston had a real nice tournament. But, man, Conlon Inc., talk about him, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I think the kid just does everything the right way. He's a great role model for young wrestlers in the state. He's been there twice, and he was a runner-up twice, and so this is his last shot. And, man, you never want to see somebody go for 3 runner-ups, right? So he and look, Sergio Houston, like Chad and I were talking on the broadcast, he is about the most unorthodox guy you're going to wrestle. And so Ink just kind of stayed with his plan. He hit 2 incredible pass by high crotches in that match, and he does everything the right way. And then at the end, no big celebration. He goes over and gave Matt a big hug. I got to see a video that his dad had posted on social media today in the back, and he's crying. He's with all the Duprees and his parents. And you can just tell it's a kid that meant everything to him to win this, and he did it the right way. So I'm so happy for him.
Yep. Chad?
Yeah, you literally took the words out of my mouth. Everything that he's ever done, he does it full strength, 100%. He puts in the extra work. He does everything the right way, Matt P said. And, man, to come up short twice and then finally get to the top of the podium, it's just really special. And, really, he's the epitome of St. Paul's wrestling. Just a very, very crisp wrestler, knows what he wants to do, executes his game plan, and just happy he was able to walk away as a state champion.
Yeah, and then at 157, Nicholas DiGirolamo was dominant. And I'm so glad to hear. I've talked to his dad this week. He has more football offers coming in right now to match the wrestling offers. He's got another year to go. He's a kid that is he's fun to watch. I think every time he lifted this weekend, we all held our breath for a second just because we know how powerful he is. And I got to give Harris Truding credit. Harris Truding hung in there, man. Tough kid, and he'll be back next year and maybe in the same weight class as Nicholas. And I know Jesuit's going to work hard, but let's face it, Nicholas DiGirolamo is going to be going for that 3rd title next year. I expect him to be a heavy favorite to do it, and he's a great kid. Ben?
Yeah, I think, Robbie, I remember going to Iowa camp and when Dan Gable was there, and he told us that you have to be an animal on the mat and a gentleman off the mat. And I think that describes Nick to a T because he's so physical on the mat. And he bullies his opponents within the rules, right? I mean, but off the mat, he is the sweetest, politest, nicest kid. He comes up and talks to me every tournament. Yes, sir. How are you doing? Thank you for everything you do. And so I was really happy for him. And I think he wrestled, he's wrestled really well all year. He wrestled the smartest he's wrestled all year in this tournament. He didn't do any risky moves. He went out there, he took care of business, dominated the guys like he's supposed to dominate him. Walks off with his 2nd title. Really, really happy for him.
Chad?
We've talked about him as a wrestler all year long. Everyone knows who he is, the football player. One thing that I really took away is, Ben and I, and I'm not sure if Robbie was there or not, but Ben and I were on the mic and we're calling it. And I want to say it was Gunner's match. And he was literally screaming so loud. I had to turn around and be like, hey, I can hear you. And but he's as intense as he is on the wrestling mat, he's just as good as a teammate. His whole heart was cheering for his teammate, before his match. If I was his coach, I'd have him in the back. But he was right there, Matt's side, and cheering on his guys and watching his teammates win, and then he eventually went on and won it himself. So just a great kid, great teammate, great wrestler, and a great football player as well. So
look, Chad, you touched on a good point. I never had my guys watching before the state finals because momentum is contagious, and so is a little failure is contagious. So hey, it's a fine line. Obviously, with the momentum of Holy Cross, I think it spurred them on. I'm not sure it's something I would do. I think I'd have my guys in the back still just in case. But, man, I think once Oubre went, it just let that tidal wave out and led to a great finals for them. And that takes us to 175. 165. As my man states in his upcoming interview, Horvaths have never been in wrestlebacks at the Louisiana State Wrestling Tournament. And I don't think Rory Horvath will be either. He's got another year to go, but, man, he was dominant. Dresser dump, a beautiful dresser dump to the championship, to the fall over Cooper Reagan of Benton, and Rory gets that state title. Ben?
Yeah, apparently Horvaths also don't make it to the 3rd round in any of their matches either.
Yes.
We were talking about Gunner. The other guy that I say had the best tournament of anybody is Rory. He had 5 pins, and I mean, all before the 3rd round, just completely dominant. And I've said it for the last month. Rory, I was the only guy to have you in the top 10 at the beginning of the year, and I can guarantee you'll be in my top 10 to start next year. Really good job.
Chad?
Man, just an absolute great tournament. Outstanding. Definitely the upper weight have OW. If it wasn't Rory, it's probably going to be the next gentleman we talked about. I think he had 4 first-round pins, and then he came through and only had 1 second round. Just absolute dominating performance. Great kid, and just outstanding job. I hope he goes on to the next level.
Yeah, and look, D1 175, the mystery man, Ty Parker, who did wrestle at the Louisiana Classic. He finished in 4th place. I was talking to Airline's coach right after the match on my way to get an interview. Ty Parker's had 6 or 7 knee surgeries. He's going in for another one. But, man, what really got me about this one is the friendship with William Mathis, which he talks about. An 8-6 win, really tough match. I know, Ben, you were really high on Mathis because he had bumped up a couple weeks before and taken out Clement of East Ascension. But, man, great finals match. 8-6 win for Ty Parker. North Louisiana gets a D1 champ. And look, that's why we should have the tournament there every year in North Louisiana, right in Shreveport, so they can get that one champion every year. And we drive all the way up from New Orleans. I think we should continue to do it. Not Ben?
Yeah. So, I still think Mathis was one of the hottest wrestlers in the last month of the season. But, man, Ty Parker, and look, it wasn't even that close. I mean, he was dominant. His single leg, he was hitting sweep singles to the left side in that match, and it was almost unstoppable. The kid's been through so much. You hear about the knee surgeries. That's coming back from 1 knee surgery is tough. Coming back from 4 and knowing that you got to go back under the knife as soon as the state tournament's over, mentally, what a tough kid. And I heard he's going to try to walk on over at Arkansas Little Rock. I hope he does, man. I hope. He
said he was. He said he was.
That's awesome because look, you need guys that are mentally that tough in college programs representing Louisiana.
Yeah. So look, Chad, I'm not going to ask you to comment on the match, but as a guy who's had a mullet, dreads, cornrows, the beards in all different ways, you had to dig the facial hair. That looked a little Western to me. What would you think, Chad?
Definitely. One thing I do kind of want to point out with him is he's been working with Pat Smith up there in Arkansas. And, coming in off of 5 knees, I hope I talked to Neil about him later that night because he was watching the matches. And I said, look, man, let's get him and Roach together. But he was really, really excited about Ty Parker. He was someone that I wasn't familiar with, but, man, just an absolute goer. And I'm excited to see what he does up at Little Rock.
All right, 190-pound weight class. Man, a guy who took a loss at the Louisiana Classic, battled his way back. Jackson Peak of St. Paul's is your state champion, pinning Jacoby Clemente of East Ascension. Jacoby finishes with a 55-2 record. But, man, Jackson Peak was big in the big moment. Ben?
Yeah, he's all heart, man. I mean, we saw it at Classic. He was the 1 seed and drops that early match, wrestles all the way back for 3rd. Which is so tough to do. And then I think that really fueled him, that loss at Classic, being the 2 seed, because he was pretty dominant in this tournament. I mean, nobody really pushed him, and he was absolutely dominant in the finals over Jacoby. I mean, it was not a very close match. I got to watch it again just today. It was takedown after takedown after takedown after takedown. So really happy for him to be able to come back from that loss at Classic and finish his I think he's only a junior, right? Or is he a senior?
He is a junior. Yeah, he will be back to defend his title, as will Cassio.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome that he wins his junior year and has another year. So congrats to him.
All right, Chad.
I think I said it on the broadcast. I think the Louisiana Classic this year and the Gilroy wrestlers coming down really humbled a lot of the state and really brought them back down to earth and made them realize, hey, look, there's a lot of room for improvement. And I don't think it was to the Gilroy kid that he lost to, but I mean, still the same story nonetheless. And man, he was on a mission. And, great job again. Hats off, St. Paul's just someone who does the right thing constantly. And when you do the right things over and over and over again, it's generally going to work out for you in the end. So congratulations.
Yep. And Division I, 215-pound weight class. You know, man, after the Louisiana Classic, we thought Jackson Calderera might get pushed. I kind of talked to a couple of coaches about that at the tournament, and they said, no, you're going to see Jackson Calderera pin in the finals. And he did. He pinned at 125 against a very much improved Sam Uceta Torres from North Shore. But Jackson Calderera was just too much for him. Ben?
Yeah, it's really hard not to like Uceta Torres. He's just a great kid. And so I think I kind of got caught in that snag too. I was like, this one might be a little closer than we think. And it wasn't. I mean, Jackson did an unbelievable job. He was so dominant in the tournament. He's been so dominant all year. It was a fitting end for his season and his career, and the fact that he just wasn't pushed. I mean, he just dominated the whole way through and ended his career with a state championship.
And Chad?
Yeah, he's one that I really wish was going to the next level. Instead of a college committee said, no, going to Alabama. So I think he's going to go a little bit more fun than headlocks and single legs. But great career, absolutely great career, dominating senior season, and go have some fun, buddy.
Who's going to Alabama? Calderera?
Yeah.
All right, well, Nick Saban's gone, okay? Go to LSU. I'm tired of Alabama. Let's get our plug in here. Bama's done. They're done. All you guys go to LSU and have the time of your life. 10 years. 10 years, guys.
And you could go help Coach DiPalma over at Cal.
You could. Coach DiPalma will hire you part-time. All right, last weight class. My guy, I hope we have it in the highlights, but I got a big giant hug from a teary-eyed Spencer Lagnosa. And in my opinion, which is right, he is the best heavyweight in Louisiana wrestling history. Ben, am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you got to be right. I mean, there's nobody else that's got his accolades and how much he dominated his last 2 years.
Yeah. Chad?
I like to put one out there. Leon's Crump won a bad wrestling.
Yeah, but we beat him in the state. Paul Hale pinned him in the state final, so that really doesn't count.
I mean, no, Big Spence had a phenomenal career, and I think he's going to have a great college experience at the Naval Academy.
I do too, man. And you know what? I told him this. I said, man, and I said this on there, we're going to miss that smile. He's got the Paul Klein smile. He's going to run for office one day. He is. He's a politician. He's just a really good kid. And, man, it was such a pleasure watching him wrestle. He's going to be 250 pounds by midsummer. There's no way you get out of the Navy boot camp training less than that. I mean, more than that if you're him. So he's going to be a different looking kid. He's going to be a different looking heavyweight because we know he can wrestle. So we wanted to recap D1 for you guys. Now, my man Eric, Justin, the whole VSN crew have put together the Division I championship final highlights, interviews. I even think we got Coach Tommy Prohaska in there with a little insight on what it's like to go from one year to the next in this sport and the job that he does for his team. So enjoy. All right, I'm here with 106-pound state champion Scott Cassio of St. Paul's, and we don't say this a whole lot, but a freshman state champion. How's it feel, bud?
It feels great. It feels good to be able to get my name on the wall by my brother.
All right, and that means a lot to you, huh? When did your brother win the state championship?
My brother won in 2021.
All right, so a little pressure there, or you just wanted to join Big Brother on the wall?
I just wanted to join them. I didn't feel any pressure. I know they support me, and I just had to go out and wrestle.
That's awesome, man. What was the difference in that match? Michael defeated you at the Louisiana Classic, and you came back today and turned the table. What did you do different this time?
I just corrected the small things that made the match a big difference. And I worked hard the past weeks to get ready for this moment and just to go out there and wrestle my best.
That's awesome, man. Does your mom have shout at home? Because we need to get that blood out on the shirt.
Yes, sir, she does.
It's worth getting a little blood, right?
I bleed a lot.
All right, man. Congratulations, and go enjoy your state championship. Thank you. £113 state champion Anthony Oubre. How's that sound, buddy?
It's amazing. It's like I've been waiting to hear that for a long time, man.
I know you have, man. So look, let's talk about the match there, dude, because you're wrestling a kid who beat you earlier in the year, #1 seed, and he comes out and puts you right on your back. And as I said on the air, you Holy Cross guys have handled that all weekend because you're so well coached. And right there, man, you kept your cool. What are you thinking when you're on your back, though?
I mean, I'm thinking the same thing that happened in the quarterfinals. I mean, all you got to do is just fight off your back. You never stop wrestling. It's an example of it.
I saw the Peterson coming. Were you thinking Peterson? Absolutely. And dude, what did you think when they slapped the mat?
It was kind of like, oh man.
All right, well, look, dude, you got a mom and dad that are probably waiting for you in the stands. Congratulations,
Thank
buddy.
you, Coach. Thank you.
All right, man. Man, now I'm here with two-time state champ Bodie Harris of Jesuit. Bodie, I got to ask you first, man. The shirts that your dads wear, do they come with the arms like that?
I am not sure, but I don't think so. I think it's a lot of work and dedication put into it.
Oh, look at that, man. So, look, man, congratulations on your second title. I asked you when you walked up, I said, do you feel like you were a little sluggish in the semifinals?
Just a tad. It was really just my finishes once again, just like the Rosas match. I didn't get him up. I was just expecting him to fall down, and I was just getting ran over and not getting my finishes right. So that's really it.
And look, man, I've interviewed Alex Rosas, Duvernay, Tyson Roach. I haven't gotten him yet, but you four guys, man, plus a bunch of other kids at 120, probably one of the toughest weight classes in the state. What's it like going against those kids?
It's fun just having that battle, you know. Just having to wrestle a full 6 minutes, maybe 7 sometimes, you never know. Just having that really hard match is just the best part of wrestling.
Yeah, and look, another team title for the Jays, 25 now total. Yeah, it's locked in. It was locked in before the finals. But congratulations on another team title. What's the expectation for senior year?
Get my third one, and I want to come back, and I want to win. I want to win Classic this time. I don't want to go get second. And if I have to wrestle Rosas again, I will. I'm going to beat him this time, though.
Bodie Harris, 120-pound Jesuit High School state champion. once again, third year in a row, I'm here with 138-pound state champion Richie Clemente. You know what I really like, Richie? The camaraderie with you and your boys, or as Landon calls them, his dogs, have. And talk about growing up with these guys, wrestling with these guys.
Yeah, so earlier this week I was scrolling Caden Trish, Gunnar Guidry, Rory Horvath, I can name a bunch of them. Pictures of us when we were down at the age of 5, all hugging, and just growing up with those guys, you really build a strong bond, and seeing them winning is even better. So.
Yeah, man, I think we should put together a summer all-star team and go around the country and kick some ass, right?
I agree with that. I couldn't agree more. So.
All right, man, so let's talk about your match, man. Matthew Crail is as tough as they come as a sophomore. It was 2-2 at the end of the first round, but I know you're not getting nervous. What was the difference in rounds 2 and 3?
So I looked at our prior matches, and I was scoring 2 or 3 points in those rounds. And so the plan wasn't to rake up a bunch of points in the first and then let him come back the second and third. It was keep that same pace the first, second, and third, and I felt like I broke them. So.
Yeah, man, no, you look great. You rolled through this tournament pretty much uncontested. Talk about, dude, what are you going to do now? What's the plans in the rest of the season and into the summer?
Yeah, so traveling, that's the fun part of wrestling. So number one goal I have for summer is getting me a stop sign at Fargo. So
there you go.
Yes, sir.
All right, man, great job, Richie. I'm sure all those Brother Martin fans are awfully proud of you. 3-time state champ, Richie Clemente.
Yes, sir, thank you.
I'm here with 144-pound Holy Cross state champion Gunnar Guidry. So Gunnar, man, I did the dual meet at Holy Cross. Yeah. It was your first time making weight, but I don't think you're going to use excuses. Yeah. What's the difference between that match where he dominated and today where you dominated?
Well, I mean, I came down from 157. At the beginning of the season, I was 157, number one in the state at that time. Nick D came back, our 65 was doing good, so I was like, I'll go down to 50. And then our 44 tore his ACL. I was like, I guess I'll go down to 44. And so first time down was actually Elsinson. I wrestled him in a close duel match. I ended up beating him. And then Jesuit, I didn't really practice too much. I had one practice in. My neck was jacked up from Brother Martin. So between trying to make 44 and getting one practice in, it was kind of a grind. I dropped the match. Richie actually told me the other day, it was like, even on your worst days, you got to be the best. And I'm like, and so that really helped me. He talked after the match, and he we're buddies, we grew up together, so he gave me a few pointers and everything. And biggest thing was hydration. I started drinking a gallon a day. Everyone's always said that. I was like, oh, I don't need a gallon. And it works. I mean, definitely, that made me feel so much better. And it just I started putting extra practices in. And I knew I'd been here before and how bad it sucked, and I wasn't gonna let anyone take it away from me. And so there is no tomorrow, and that's how I wrestled every match. All of them were close.
You know, man, that's what I love about you wrestlers. They've been telling you to drink a gallon of water for years now, and now you only decide to kick it in. So I would venture to say, moving forward, Gunnar Guidry is going to be a water drinker.
Oh, yeah, no matter what weight I'm going. I mean, it took me going down 2 weight classes for me to finally drink a gallon of water, and I feel great, so.
All right, man. Hey, maybe Kentwood out there will get you an NIL deal, right? NIL deals are okay for high school kids. Kentwood, if you're listening out there, this guy will drink your water.
Definitely.
So let's talk about the match, man. One thing about Isaac is the fact that he doesn't look flustered ever.
Never.
He keeps his cool. I noticed that the kind of hug at the end and the handshake. Yeah. Talk about him and the kind of freshman season he's had.
No, I mean, I was a kind of hungry freshman. I only took 6, so wasn't the same way as him. But I was watching him warm up, and that dude is laser focused the entire time. He's always composed, and you slip up one time, he's getting in on your legs. He got in my legs 3 times. Luckily, I still got my 157-pound hips, I guess, and so that helped me out. But he just keeps coming, and that composure he has, he's going to go a long ways with that.
Awesome, man. 144-pound state champ, Gunnar Guidry. Congratulations, Gunnar. right, man. So this guy is now a 2-time state champion, a 4-time place finisher, and man, record now at the state tournament, 18-3. And one of them we ain't even gonna count, right? 2 losses in 8th grader. Yeah, we're gonna forget about that, man. So hey, so proud of you, Nicholas. The finals match kind of offered a little bit of a challenge. First of all, because the first guy to take you out of a minute into the match. But what was the challenge with the Jesuit wrestler?
So he's a really tall, lanky kid. He's good at defense, good at keeping his distance. He really progressed from last year. I wrestled him, and it wasn't a close match at all. So that's big props to him for getting in the room, doing his thing, and making it to the finals. Gotta be nice.
I'm going to help you be politically correct, and I'm going to say that you wrestled a very good tournament. You stopped on the whistle, and you got your state title you deserve. Man, so look, for you, dude, last couple of days there's been a lot of interest in you as a football player, right? So going into your senior year, you'll go in both sports again, and then we're going to make some decisions. Right now, what are you leaning to, football or wrestling or both?
Football is my dream sport to go play college in. I want to go to an Ivy League. So really it's just I need to retake my ACT and then keep putting in work, and I'm just trusting that offers will come to me at the end of the day. But I'm just going to take my best offer, go do what I love. I love wrestling and football, so just trying to get there first.
All right, man, talk about your teammates. A big night for the Holy Cross Tigers. How special is it for Landon Smith to get a state title with his bro?
I have been so proud of him for the past hour. Just
the past hour? You mean like not the last month, the last hour?
He won a really big one in the semis. I was more happy for him than me, to be honest. I was over there going crazy. That was my entire warm-up.
Yeah, well, look, I remember last year you had a tough semis match because you got into Gunner's match, and it wore you out a little bit. You know, today, man, it seems like you fed off the energy of your teammates. You had a lot of bounce in your step out there.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All of our teammates have been working really hard. All of my teammates have been working really hard the whole season, putting in work day in, day out, coming in the morning, getting hours in, staying hours after school, and it paid off. All of our kids, they showed out tonight. Really
all right, man. Great job, Nicholas. Go enjoy with your teammates.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Later, buddy. Go get him, bro. Horvath has never been
in the consies.
In the consolation round of the state tournament. You guys just go to the finals, right?
Yes, sir.
So how does it feel to join your brother Rocco as a state champ and Riley, who was a state finalist?
It feels great.
Okay, could you hear your mom yelling up there when you had him on his back?
I think a little bit. I heard a little bit.
I definitely heard him, man. So look, talk about all the work that goes into this. I mean, I can see the face there. It's been a good, tough tournament. Talk about your work for this season. I mean, you started this journey when you were, what, 5 years old?
Yes, sir. I've been in this a long time. Brother Martin, we go through really hard workouts, but it pays out in the end. If you just keep at it, keep going, and just don't, quit, don't, slack off or anything, it goes a long way.
All right, so he came out, and you looked a little uncomfortable in the first 10 or 15 seconds. We commented just because he was so tall, but it seemed like you figured him out pretty quick.
Yes, sir. In the first 10, 15 seconds, I was trying to feel him out, see what he was made of, see how he moved. and he was just really long, and I was trying to get that back leg, but I couldn't reach it. And then I guess I got that too, and I started working from there.
All right, man. I know your mom and dad are waiting for you up there. Go up there, man. Everybody's proud of you.
Thank you.
Ty Parker, state champion. I had to ask you, Coach, because, man, I know you've been in and out with knee issues, right? And so I really, 4th place at the Classic, but beside that, not a whole lot of mat time this year?
No, sir. A lot of grinding, a lot of practicing, but not a lot of matches.
Well, look, dude, we could tell you've been grinding and practicing because I watched that entire semifinal match. I was like, wow, where did this guy come from? I mean, you really put a great performance in this tournament. What was the difference in that finals match?
Well, I lost to him in Classic. I didn't like it. Great kid. Me and him get along. We text all the time, but I don't like him enough for him to beat me. So just practiced a lot of defending shots, getting out of clearing ties, and that really was the difference.
You know, buddy, it's great to hear you say that because you're like the 5th or 6th finals today to say, hey, I'm really good friends with these guys, but when we get on the mat, what happens when you get on the mat with them?
We slap hands, we get after it, and right after, tell him I love him. He's like a brother. We wrestle again. It's the same process. We'll spend weeks living with each other, eating with each other, practicing with each other, hanging out, just bonding with each other. But when we got on green and red ankle bands, it's on.
That's awesome, man. And so winning a state championship in front of a big crowd in your hometown, I'm sure you're ready to get over there and go enjoy. Congratulations.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
For the last time, I'm here with 3-time Louisiana state champion, and I'm going to say it now, the greatest heavyweight in Louisiana wrestling history, Spencer Lagnosa. Dude, and the first thing we're going to miss, we talked about it today, your smiling face, dude. We really are. You've been a class act. What does it feel like to bring the titles back to Jesuit and accomplish what you have?
It's awesome. We came in here knowing what was going to happen, and we executed it to a T. And now we're bringing the title back to Carrollton and Banks, and it's going to be that way for a while. And, you know, wouldn't have been able to do it without the coaches that we have and the community that we've built over there. And it's just really storybook. I couldn't have asked for a better career, a better place to be, you know, brought up in. It's beautiful.
All right, buddy, and look, I know you're heading off to the Naval Academy. I predict when we see you next time, you're going to be about 250 pounds because that boot camp in the summer.
Oh, 100%. Soon you might see a 4-pack. Real soon.
So I challenge you to come up with a new cheer, a new celebration. What did you think of it? What was the reaction of the student body?
I figured, you know, you can't, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I went back and I let everybody know before the match that the coaster was coming, and I delivered.
All right, bro. Well, look, go celebrate with your team. Once again, man, we're going to miss that face, dude. Congratulations.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, well, give me a hug, man. Good job.
We've been very close since he's got there. You know, I remember talking to him when he showed up, and he laid out he's a guy that always knew what his goals were. He knew that he wanted it. And every time he stepped on a wrestling mat, he competed as hard as he could, whether he won or lost, whether it was here in another state, he competes to win. He plays for keeps, you know? And what he's done for our program in a lot of ways is he taught us how to do that. You know, when he came out, we came in 11th place. You know, Jono told me last night, he goes, when these guys were freshmen, we put 2 guys in the state finals. Now we had 2 guys or in the semifinals. Now we have 2 guys that we didn't put in the state semifinals. And in a lot of ways, he expected that of his teammates. He was upset every time they lost, you know, and he helped us lead the way to get to where we are now, where, you know, winning the state tournament, trying to 2-peat. You know, so he's been very important in leadership for us. He, you know, leading by example, winning matches, wrestling tough ones.
I'm here with state championship coach and winner, John Aurelian, for the 2nd year in a row. And Coach Aurelian, we were just talking about the fact that when you put so many guys in the finals, I can see you're a little emotionally drained at this point. But, man, what's this tournament been like for your team?
You know, it's been great, man. We set a goal earlier in the year to step up and say, hey, we want to do it again, right? We want to repeat. The guys put a lot of effort in this summer. You know, we've had a lot of success throughout the year at different tournaments. You know, and it's just nice to see it all come together and, you know, reach the goal we're trying to reach and get that repeat state championship. You know, it's an exciting moment for us.
Yeah, look, your individual state champions, Bodie Harris, I saw the smile on your face with Jackson Calderera because I've heard the amount of work that he puts in for you guys. And then the big guy, man, the big guy was holding back tears there. And I saw you kind of look at Coach Hattie and go, all right, it's over, because sometimes you got to come to that realization. What are those 2 hammers at the end of your lineup? What did they do for your team this year?
You know, it's those 2 and all the rest of the seniors, man. You know, I reminded the guys 4 years ago when they were freshmen, we had 2 guys in the semifinals, Dennis Doherty and Spencer Lanoska. All of a sudden, 4 years later, they're seniors, and we have 2 guys not in the semifinals, you know. And it just shows the standard that they set, and it's a standard that, you know, I'm going to remind these young guys that this is now the standard, and you have to live up to that now, you know. And we set a goal 4 years ago to put ourselves in this position, and now to see 4 years later, you know, see it turn around as much as it has, you know. And I can't, it's what I told Spencer and Jackson after their matches, that I can't be more thankful for the effort that they put into this program, because they've set that standard for us. And now these young guys are going to have to continue to fight to reach that standard.
Well, Coach, you are absolutely technically sound. It was a pleasure watching you guys wrestle this weekend. Go enjoy with the boys. So what does it mean to you, man? 2 years in a row, your alma mater wins a D3 title. And I know you still got a little soft spot in there for Sean. And then you guys come over to Jesuit, man, and now you got, what, number 25 for the Jays?
I believe
there's number 25, Holy Cross sitting at 28. I know the plans to get there, but, man, what's it mean to you to be able to do that?
Well, man, I mean, first, with the Shaw situation, like, I'm so proud of Brandon Sorensen, his staff, his kids. Obviously, we're very close, and I can't be more happy for the success that they're seeing. I love everything that they're doing. With Jesuit, I told the kids last year, one of the reasons why I came whenever I was a freshman, when you coached me at that state tournament, I'd never seen wrestling before that year. And I thought that was the funnest looking thing winning the Division I state championship as a team that anyone could ever have. And I really mean that. I thought it was I was like, I want to do that one day. And that was a big part when Jesuit came calling. That was a big part of me wanting to go over there. I wanted to be in the fight. And, and getting a little bit older, you start realizing that. I told the kids last year, I started to realize that the connections with the kids and getting people to succeed and having great character and winning through adversity is more important than winning state. And once I finally realized that, we win one, And it's been, last year, I'd say last year was one of the best days of my life, This is fun. We have fun every day doing it. The kids love to do it. The kids like being on the team. We have fun all of the time, And it's a great room right now. Being in the room at Jesuit High School it's fun. The kids like it. They work hard. They strive for excellence. They want to win everything. They want to win it all. And they love each other. And it's great.
And welcome back to Louisiana Wrestling Now. And guys, man, it's a sad day, but this is it for the 2023-24 season. Man, I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate the Louisiana wrestling community. Who would have thunk that I could ever walk in a gym and Jesuit moms would wave and smile and say hello? Who would have thought that would ever be possible, except in some crazy dimension way away? But I hope everyone does appreciate the passion that we bring to the sport and just the love that we have for it. And we want to continue to make this grow. So before we get into thanking everyone for the season, I want to tell you how you can sponsor next year. You can contact me at Robert Dauterive on Facebook. Send me an instant message, and I'll get right back with you. I've had plenty of people reach out this week. I'll be contacting all of our weight class sponsors from this past year, and I'm sure we're going to get almost everyone back, along with our title sponsors. And we'll have to put that together around next August to get ready to get going again for next season. But man, we couldn't do this show without our guy, Justin Thomas, listening to us fools in between the commercial breaks. And we appreciate everything, Justin, and Lon Elsie with VSN, and most of all with Eric Ritchie, who, man, I met years ago when he came up to me and said, hey, I want to cover the finals of your tournament. I'm like, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then I called him up the next year and said, hey, bud, I've got a kid with a completely torn ACL. You think you'd like to do a story on him? And he went on and did the Paul Klein story, which is available on YouTube. Go check it out, especially you wrestlers out there. It's a very inspirational story about four-time state champ from Brother Martin, Paul Klein, and his battle his senior year, wrestling with a torn ACL. But, man, Eric Ritchie, you gave us the opportunity to do this. We very much appreciate it. Ben, any final thoughts for the season?
Time to go get better. I mean, all you guys out there that are coming back next year, go hit the weight room, hit the wrestling room, and wrestle in as many matches as you can between now and October.
Chad?
Man, I just want to thank you guys. I had a lot of fun with y'all, covering the sport. It's unprecedented coverage. And, just a lot of fun. Robbie, thank you for the opportunity. And Ben, thank you for keeping these two just thoroughbreds running straight as best you can, buddy. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, look, I think Ben's the best play-by-play guy out there. He really is. And Chad, I'm sure you're good at something. We're going to figure it out. But I know what? You're one fun dude. My man, Chad, dude. Every time I look at him at the state tournament, I just think about how angry Jim would be at that moment. And then Chad's just smiling and kick back. And, dude, Chad, you do a great job for Louisiana wrestling, man. And your dad did such a great job. He goes in the Hall of Fame this year, right?
Yeah, just a Hall of Fame. What is it? April 16th, Tuesday. And then
all right, so I should probably reserve April 16th about It should only be about 5 years from now for my induction ceremony, but we'll talk about that later. It's kind of ridiculous. I'm not in yet either. But, hey, Jim, you definitely deserve to be in there, my man. You've done so much, not just for Louisiana wrestling, but for wrestling. I mean, just to hear Daniel Cormier talk about Jim Ravannack and the influence that he had on his career. And then Jim Ravannack says, hey, by the way, take my kid his senior year in high school, which he obviously couldn't handle, right, Chad?
Hey, they did their best, just like Ben does with us. Just like Ben does with us.
But look, we want to thank not only VSN, we want to thank all of our sponsors, but we want to thank the parents, the fans, and the wrestlers who go out there and give it their all each and every weekend. It's been a great season. Just a little announcement. I will be putting together a combination camp this summer. It's going to be a technique camp, a mindset camp, and it's going to be a camp for young coaches to come see a bunch of great technicians, and we're going to show you what a real solid practice room looks like, some tips on what you can do to get better. And for wrestlers out there, man, we're going to talk about goal setting. We're going to talk about pre-match routine. We're going to talk about reset buttons and just about every aspect of what it takes to be a top wrestler, not only in the state of Louisiana, but to go off and do it in college. And hopefully you can take these same ideas and apply it to your academics in life. And that will be an announcement will come up. I'll put that out this summer also. But want to thank Brother Martin High School again and their legendary 3-time state champion, my man, Kenny Spellman, and the Brother Martin Alumni Association for sponsoring this state championship recap special. So if you guys don't have anything else, I'm going to tell everyone, have a great off season. We'll see you guys this summer with a special summer show that will wrap up Virginia Beach, Iowa, Freestyle Greco, and everything that goes into being a champion for next season. This is Robbie Dauterive wishing everyone a great